Welcome back from the weekend. Good evening. You're welcome to News Tonight live from our Platinum Studios. This is GHOne Television and my name is Kemeni Amano.
Mine is Kwekutumin. Trust that within the next hour we will get you updates of stories that you have been expecting, especially from our local front. We'll touch base with some international stories and then we'll refresh you with some entertainment news. Well, coming up now, our headlines. Ghana Education Service fumigates Kumaka campus to protect the students and forestall any further outbreak of the killer flu. Also coming up this evening, people in the town of Kitikpa in Hohoi are crying out for a health facility, absence of which is impacting negatively on their health. Now, while in the health sector, we'll tell you how the Ghana Health Service has put Koforidia Sectec on meningitis high alert following the death of one student last Friday. And here, human rights advocates are asking for impartial action on all human rights abuses as Youth for Human Rights Africa launch a campaign to push authorities to action. And tonight in business, LPG Marketers Association still pushing government to halt its cylinder recirculation agenda or meet them in court. Glad you could join us tonight. Thank you very much for your company. In our first story, Ghana is investing 3.6% of its GDP in health service delivery compared to countries like Sierra Leone's 11.1%. Now, access to quality healthcare has become a major problem in the country, and residents of Kitikpa, a community in Hohoi, are not exempted. Now, the lack of a health facility is of great concern to residents who are appealing to government to construct a health facility in the community.
Kitikpa is a small village on the outskirts of Hohoi in the Volta region. The townsfolk are into farming and mainly grow rice and maize. Farmers travel not less than 1 mile to their farms daily. For some residents who can't go that far, they grow a variety of crops in their backyard to cater for their families. Achu is a farmer. According to him, though the farmland is rented, he is at least able to make just enough to cater for himself and a family of 5.
The land is not for me. So if I farm on it, then we share it in 3 parts. Then I take 2, the landowner to take 1. The cassava, we take it for condo. We go to the farm. If we operate it, then we go to come. People are coming for us, buy it. Because I need money. If you come in, some people will come and buy it. For instance, 2 Ghana cedis. Then because I need money, so I'll sell it.
For residents who are not keen on farming, carpentry is an alternative. But Kitikpa is not exempted from the challenges facing most communities in the country. Issues of unemployment and illiteracy is high. However, the lack of a health facility within the village is a major worry for residents. This makes access to quality health a mirage. Patients in critical conditions are often carried on motorbikes to hospitals within the Hohoi municipality. Esinam Osei lost her first child to a strange ailment due to the lack of a health center in the community.
He can't sit. He can't eat himself. You do everything for him. He left one week. Then he will get 3 years. Then he died.
According to residents, they had received some assurance from a non-governmental organization who promised to help, but nothing has been done yet. River Dane is the main source of water for the community.
A boy, a dear Juma, a dear Yama Bebre, a Dissiniama, ye no mo nso ena ye dware ye aduane bibia ye wo nsuo ye di nsuo ye bia no ye di ye ena ye yi na mo nso wo.
According to residents, this river is the main source from the Dane community in Togo. It is a taboo for townsfolk to bath or wash in the River Dane on Fridays. There are strange stories centered around this superstition.
Friday uba, a walk I say once you no so or uba besia. Would is salmon and soon good soon ma. Or be free. So free, won't over who say baby or was a woman just say, won't be popo. And I be baba was we call or moody work or in fear. Bibi or hobby to ya answer. Oh, better. Na mi da mi hu mi da nyati se Friday omo mbe sinti mi da mi mba nti mi hu wonu bi da na so so mo ba na omo be si na omo hu na omo kare na yesiete.
Living in Kitikpa can be hard, especially for the unemployed youth. Many have left the village to neighboring communities in search of greener pastures, while others do whatever they can just to survive.
Well, rather on a sad note, the Ghana Health Service has confirmed that a student of Kofodia Sectec who died on Friday, December 8th, was killed by a bacterial meningitis.
Addressing a section of the media on Monday, 11th December 2017, the Eastern Regional Health Director, Dr. Charity Sapong, said fluid collected through a lumbar puncture procedure from the deceased before his death and sent to the laboratory confirmed that the deceased died of meningitis. 22 students who had contact with the deceased student have been put under close observation, according to Dr. Charity Sapong.
We got information about a case from Sectec that had been sent to the regional hospital, and I think they were suspecting meningitis. The doctor in charge who received the case took all the necessary investigations, including a lumbar puncture, and necessary investigations were carried out. Then the results that came out showed that yes, it was positive for meningitis.
On the 6th of April 2017, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Nsia Asare, warned Ghanaians to be cautious and vigilant as the country is in meningitis season. He also noted that over 50 people have died over the last 3 months as a result of an outbreak of the disease in the country. The 3 regions in the north have recorded the highest casualty, with the Ashanti region recording 7 in April from the Kumasi Academy.
Now, the Greater Accra Regional Police Command is working hard to get the suspect in Saturday's vandal shooting incident remanded. Public Relations Officer ASP Efiatenge says they are also looking forward to some more witness accounts on the matter. Now, in the following report, be informed that some of the pictures could be sensitive.
An old vandal was stabbed to death in a bloody fight with his colleague at the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana, Legon, on Saturday. This was the result of a heated argument between the two, leading to the suspect first attacking the victim with a broken bottle and subsequently following up with a knife several times. The deceased, who was named as Trinibua Kodria, alias Chief Tipsy, was rushed to the Legon Hospital but passed away shortly after. Arriving at Legon campus this morning, the news team gathered that authorities of the school are yet to come up with details on what exactly happened over the weekend. Early Monday morning, they sent out a press release saying no threat has been identified which could cause any danger to students in this respect. Management of the university further stated that the Careers and Counseling Center of the school is on standby to counsel any student who may have been traumatized by the incident. The suspect, who has been named as George, is however in the custody of the police and was taken to the Accra Circuit Court Monday. According to Public Relations Officer of the Accra Regional Police Command, ASP Efiatenge, efforts are underway to get the suspect remanded.
The scene was visited as usual, and the crime scene experts have picked up the evidential values or items that we believe can help us proceed in our investigations. We have found a broken bottle that the police have picked up. As of the last time I spoke to the investigator, we didn't have the knife. So I don't know that maybe if I have to find out.
Well, quite a difficult situation there at the University of Ghana, but we stay closely on the matter. I'm sure as and when the police pick up further information, we'll be the first to report on it. But at this point, we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly with some more details. Do stay.
Autistic children's dreams come true during Verna Mineral Water rebranding launch.
Most of the times, people ignore such kids and they tag them as evil kids or they are cursed and all that, but that's not true. Putting a smile on every child's face, regardless of their condition, is a major responsibility of our society, and I am pleased to be a part of this today.
In this life, the best thing you can do is to make someone else happy, or basically make people around you happy.
Drinking and buying Verna mineral water, you help many people out there, like our beautiful sisters over here, and all the many people that Verna mineral water helps. Here we go. Purchase a bottle of the all-new, sleek and stylish Verna natural mineral water today and support a worthy cause. Verna mineral water, changing people's lives.
Beverages Limited, Kakai 777 bitters.
Me pensa papa bia no ma no bina shemu Ghana ne China no bina kwani e dia shemu Chiche bina obeye fine drink and make you no waste time Nyampa kakai bitters yeah come it's good for your party so kakai bitters for your engagement so kakai bitters good for your funeral so kakai bitters it's good for your wedding so your wedding so it's good for your party so for your engagement so good for your funeral so
Nyansem and Tom Manipa when Yantia do watch and Sessa Appin for num. Our drinking sport BM Kakai 777 bitters and Kasa.
Sasabo Sasso Sikume tonton preko Sasso Sikume tonton preko Edana Jami nebu sheshe Yeha kesiare malaria Minya me phone me sasso spray Every mosquito started run away. Tonton preko, sasso, mi se kume tonton preko. Kumo tonton preko, sasso, kum tonton preko. Nani shamne die, demo stronko.
8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, close to 2,000 hours a year. That's what you invest in your business as you strive for the life you dream of. You're putting in the work. Make sure you get what you deserve. Get retrenchment insurance. Get an overdraft. Get a Visa credit card. Get Barclays Prestige Banking. You've earned it.
Hey, NASCO here, NASCO there, NASCO everywhere. Oh, my Christmas gonna be fun with NASCO every day. Yay! Dashing through the store for my NASCO holiday. So many things to choose. Yeah, Titi Swama, yay!
Don't Don't miss out on the best NASCO deals this Christmas. Yeah, so big discounts. Buy a NASCO gas cooker for just 499 Ghana cedis. NASCO double door fridge for 899 Ghana cedis. 32-inch NASCO TV for 775 Ghana cedis. NASCO 55-inch satellite TV with DSTV Zappa for 2,399 Ghana cedis. And so much more. Yeah, so kwata. Be a part of the NASCO Ya promotion. For all these discounted items and more at all NASCO showrooms and authorized retailers, or call 0503 400 300 for more info. This offer is while stocks last. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Revitalize your body with Master T. Reduces stress, improves your sleep.
Do you really want to keep your job?
I try, sir, but always wake up feeling very tired.
Don't you drink Master Tea?
Master Tea.
Master Tea is a food supplement formulated to improve sleep, reduce stress, relax muscles, invigorate the body for good health and vitality, giving you a fresh start for the day.
We love Master Tea.
Now available at all pharmacies, filling station shops and shopping centers nationwide. Contact Medimosis in Accra, Kumase, Tema and Strazako. Master Tea, another quality product from Medimosis, not suitable for pregnant women and lactating mothers.
Master Tea invigorates the body for good health and vitality.
Remember for na say na den na ekoso.
So wa we need to ya say your boy homode.
Wuji di say ehwo te ana.
Eni ato wine.
Fa wonto ma no ne di machi.
Hey, show. Na de ani nyama yi na eni na.
Wo se wonto ma no ho te de. Nanso emuamu aye ntimi fa ye ni hu betimi awo.
We de wo se wo bo aye yo. E de na ye
nye. For magical. Eno na timi kum muamu aye ntimi fa ye ni hu nyinara. Hwe ntama ye de magical asie. Magical. Eye magic.
Tiame,
therefore,
ma yawo hoyi brensio na feye mu so mo kwan.
Say the therefore say no. Wada roma, manento nana say nsuo asem de mo ha na okwa ye ba no, ye de nsuo ba.
Ah! Adai. Se waba efie. Ah, wa say yen ma mu nsuo num no. Wo so di nsuo ba. Eni sai.
Nana eti amra.
Therefore, yes rewo. Nsuo we eye ahemfo nsuo a ye de afa mfidie mu. Asone so aye ne kroji. A Free Kingdom Beverages Limited. King's Drinking Water.
Baima. Nsuo na de.
Adampa.
King's Drinking Water. Eni na King's Drinking Water.
Ahifusio de.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. We still have some more stories for you. Let's go on to our next story. Now, your transportation challenges could soon be a thing of the past with the swearing in of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive Board. Now, the board is tasked to provide quality alternative transport for communities within the region. The move is in fulfillment of the Local Governments Act 2016, which mandates MMDAs to take full responsibility for developing their jurisdiction.
The Local Government Act 2016 mandates all MMDAs to assume the responsibility of providing quality transport services within their jurisdictions. It was on the basis of this legislation that all MMDAs within the Greater Accra region, as well as the Ewutu Senya East Metropolitan Assembly, with support from the French Development Agency, established the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive GHOne Board. The first GHOne Board worked hard to introduce the Bus Rapid Transit System, otherwise known as the Ayalolo bus system. The Ayalolo bus service came on stream in 2016 with its first route on the Accra-Amasaman stretch and only 28 buses. Now the service operates 68 buses. But the Ayalolo has not been without challenges. The buses are supposed to operate dedicated lanes, but they are non-existent. Also, the trotro vans and other commercial vehicles compete with the buses on the limited designated lanes they ply. Over 100 of the 245 Ayalolo buses imported into the country were reported to be sitting idle since 2016 because other corridors which are supposed to be developed are yet to be implemented. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony of the second Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive Board that will oversee another quality transport service, the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Hajia Alima Mahama, said infrastructure is being expanded to extend the Ayalolo service to the Adenta-Tudu corridor.
The next stage was to look at the Adenta corridor. But the infrastructure services will have to be put in place first. And Ministry of Transport is supporting us in that, to put up the infrastructure services for the Adenta corridor, and hopefully that will also be opened very, very soon.
But the bus service is saddled with indebtedness. Hajia Alima Mahama said the structure of revenue generation and spending must be reviewed to close all gaps that create leakage of funds.
Within the transition period and now, the key challenges that we found with GAP2 was indebtedness. And you will have to look at this. Why this indebtedness? Especially when it comes to supply of fuels. What is the structure in the supply for fuel for the buses? How is the operation done? And why is it that with the kind of ridership that they are getting, they are still indebted?
She tasked members of the board to work to ensure that GAP2 delivers a reliable, competent and effective transport service.
You're watching News Tonight. Time now for Business Brief, brought to you by Desk Capital.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you. We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Bronya. Freddy's Corner, Yasa babyum, Brunya, obvious Freddy's Corner, Edientia, yeah, Chenyoma, I mean free instant gift. Nyawia, so be where Freddy's Corner shop, Bia Wagana, baby. What shall do of Freddy's Corner Brunya where? Who be Yacha, dear bit to say, wine, mackerel, biscuits, and in your mouth would be brave.
Wow, Freddy's Corner, thank you.
Freddy's Corner, may I say? Nyawia, so be where Freddy's Corner shop. Yeah, we're gonna have baby. Not do mobile phone, with laptop, or printer, and also PlayStation. Not do instant gift. Wow, to Mikako Freddy's Corner. Not for do what you Freddy's Corner, your home of authentic mobile phone and accessory.
Head office, Kokomlimli, any city light, ne DNM Fre 020 793732.
Our first story in business, Labour and Employment Minister says the public sector alone cannot provide jobs for the teeming unemployed youth in the country. Ignatius Bafo-Ewua argues the private sector should lead the drive in providing jobs for the unemployed. The minister's comments follow a similar one by Senior Minister Yao Safo-Mafo.
The employment minister said government is doing everything possible to address the unemployment challenge, which he described as a social problem. He disclosed each of the 100,000 graduates to be employed under the Nation Builders Corps program will earn 600 Ghana cedis. Government appreciates the fact that since there has been this backlog of a teeming number of people that have not been engaged over a period of time, it is proper on government part to solve this social problem by coming out with interventions, and that's why I outlined all these interventions which government has already initiated. However, Member of Parliament for Shaiman, Ernest Nogbe, has disclosed he will summon the Employment and Labour Relations Minister to Parliament over the unemployment situation in the country. According to the MP, some figures the minister threw out when he visited Parliament do not add up.
What motivated me to ask these questions about how the teeming youth in Ghana, especially even my constituents, are on my nerves, that they want a job, they want job, etc. So I have to bring the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations to come and answer.
We're still in business. Let's take more stories. As from 48 hours from now, the Association of LPG Marketers of Ghana would firm up their decision to head to court if government does not rescind its decision to introduce the cylinder recirculation module in 2018. Its Vice Chairman, Gabi Kumi, describes as unfortunate comments by the Deputy Minister, Amin Adam, suggesting that LPG marketers cannot hold the entire nation to ransom. The Association of LPG Marketers told GHOne News it would be left with no choice than to sue government if it decides to go ahead with its plan to implement the cylinder recirculation module. According to the members, government has failed to respond to concerns raised about the module and has failed to engage in stakeholder consultation on the subject. The Vice Chairman of the Association of LPG Marketers, Gabi Kumi, cites potential job losses as a consequence of the module. He describes as unfortunate the entrenched position adopted by government.
We've done all that we could to get the ministry's attention. Our major concern is that the value chain that this model is proposing, the value chain that has been put forward, have been proposed by the MPA, completely wipe out our role as LPG marketing companies and LPG retailers.
On Wednesday, the association will meet with its lawyers to decide how to adopt legal means to support their cause.
We are not going to have any harsh words for you, Mr. Minister. We will continue to respect you. But what we can assure you is that we are going to use all constitutional and legal means available to us as citizens of Ghana, as indigenous entrepreneurs who have built the LPG industry for the past 30 years without any direct government support, to ensure that our concerns are addressed.
Quite a situation there. I just pray that it doesn't affect, the system of distribution LPG as of this time, not the 2018 plan.
But I think instead of fighting the system, which could potentially save a lot of lives, they should figure out a way to rope themselves in as a business. I think it's a little too late to fight the system.
Well, it's a difficult situation. We'll wait to see what rules are, probably after the court issue or government heeds to their call or something. But that's all we have for you in business. Thanks to Dusk Capital.
Business Brief was brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Let's continue with the rest of our stories. The Ghana Education Service has contracted an expert to fumigate Kumasi Academy School following the swine flu outbreak that has killed 4 students. The fumigation, which comes in 3 phases, includes general fumigation, viral and bacterial fumigation, and cleaning as well as disinfection. The exercise started last Sunday.
Director of Oscapa Ventures Fumigation Company, Oscar Osayapao, who has been contracted for the fumigation exercise, told Ultimate FM's reporter Isaac Bediako that they are fumigating all the 8 houses, 99 rooms plus the kitchen, sick bay, administration block, toilet facilities with the exception of the teachers' bungalows. The general fumigation will take care of insects such as cockroaches, bedbugs, ants, while the second fumigation is expected to clear the campus of viruses and bacteria. The third phase of the exercise will generally take care of the safety and cleanliness of the campus. Meanwhile, most of the students admitted at Tech, Agogo South, Menchia and Komfanochi teaching hospitals have been discharged, and only about 8 students still responding to treatments. The municipal chief executive of Asokore Mampong, Alidu Mohammed, confirmed to GHOne News that the school is yet to receive H1N1 influenza vaccines from the Ministry of Health to begin second phase of vaccination for the entire student and teacher population.
We have about 3 different blocks that we intend making it better and habitable for the students to go and be lodging. We've marshaled all forces to find solution to the problem. Once we've gotten to where we are now, it will be better for them to return to school.
In other stories tonight, the health status of suspect Haddad Rabi, who is accused of raping his 19-year-old house help, is stable and very well responding to treatment at the Accra Regional Hospital. But the suspect was refused bail by an Accra Central District Magistrate Court despite a passionate appeal by his lawyer last Tuesday.
Rabi, who has been on admission for the past 5 days at Ridge Hospital, is responding well to treatment and might be discharged soon. Head of Internal Medicine of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Henrietta Fishchen, who confirmed the admission of the 39-year-old Lebanese rape suspect, said he was brought in on Wednesday, December 6, 2017, with some cardio complaints. He was immediately admitted at the emergency ward of the Ridge Hospital, where he has been for the past 5 days. She, however, has discredited rumors that the patient is on a life support machine. Social media went agog 2 weeks ago with the news of a 19-year-old girl raped and assaulted by her Lebanese employer. According to her, the suspect beat her after his apparent displeasure with the coffee she had prepared for him and afterward raped her. The suspect appeared at the Accra Central District Magistrates Court with his lawyer, Raphael Pokueduse, who applied for bail for his client, Rabi Haddad. The bail application was thrown out by the Accra Central District Magistrate Court, presided over by Arit Insemo, on the basis that it lacked jurisdiction to grant bail. The suspect is, however, expected to appear back at the Accra Central District Magistrate Court on Wednesday, 13th December 2017, ahead of a proposed date of December 19, 2017.
Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice and other stakeholders have proposed that protocol recruitment into public institutions be stopped to help combat corruption. Now, this was proposed at the end of the National Anti-Corruption and Transparency Week, which ended last Saturday. The stakeholders, including Shraj, IOCO, Civil Society Organization, also called for the introduction of modules and subjects on ethical values that eschew corruption in all schools, as well as the introduction of anti-corruption sermons in places of worship.
On July 3, 2014, Ghana's parliament adopted a National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, NACAP. Implementation started in 2015. NACAP is to combat corruption in the country. Despite this plan and many other activities, including sensitizations and preventive measures to help fight corruption, the canker still persists in almost all sectors of the country's economy. As part of measures to help combat corruption that keeps increasing despite all efforts, anti-corruption stakeholders or campaigners at the end of the National Anti-Corruption and Transparency Week proposed that the National Cultural Review Program starts next year. The Office of the President was also asked to stop the usage of protocol lists in recruiting people into public institutions.
We should mainstream anti-corruption, ethics and integrity in public, private sector, civil society and religious organizations. The Office of the President must take steps to prevent recruitment and admissions into the public sector institutions through the use of protocols. It is distorting the systems that have to be put in place.
In a speech read for the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, by the Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yanka, the Attorney General was urged to expedite action on anti-corruption bills for parliamentary approval to strengthen the legal regime to fight corruption.
I would like to caution all public sector institutions to take all necessary steps to implement these rules and their roles and the NACAP and report on them to SHRAJ as required. And I can assure SHRAJ that the Office of the President will support it in the coordination of the implementation of the NACAP.
The first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joseph Osei-Owusu, decried how politicization of crimes in the country is impeding efforts in the fight against corruption.
I wish to suggest that between building new ethics, the next thing is focus and punish well those who have misconducted themselves. The people that we live with every day are the ones we elect to be our assembly members, the ones we elect to be our members of parliament, the ones we elevate to become chiefs and ministers and so on. So they did not bring anything new into the positions. It is the same bad values they have lived with, they have lived and practiced over the years that has become and not showing because they have come into the limelight.
We're glad that you're still with us. Up next is Insight. All right, now to our inside story, and here the widespread human rights abuse in Ghana, with the police doing little or nothing to those carrying out such atrocities, has caused many to wonder whether the country is making any headway in the tackling of the menace. Well, one of such cases which GHOne News has been following involves a 27-year-old Stephen Arthur who has been left paralyzed after a police officer allegedly shot him at the lower back 7 years ago. Now, this, amongst other incidents, has forced a human rights group, Youth for Human Rights Africa, to begin a campaign to push authorities and stakeholders to rise up against human rights violations. There is more in this report.
Human rights abuse is a menace authorities and citizens are battling to deal with in Ghana. Culprits take the law into their own hands and violate victims' rights with careless abandon. In fact, statistics from the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice (CHRAJ) in 2015 shows human rights abuses constitute 96% of complaints received by the Commission. This has become a major problem because some culprits end up escaping prosecution. One such case, which GHOne News has been keenly following, is that of 27-year-old Stephen Arthur, who has been left paralyzed after a police officer allegedly shot him at the lower back 7 years ago.
There are many things that are not going right as far as the country is concerned. They are not going right because sometimes we take them for granted, but we don't have to take them for granted. What is happening in Libya can happen in Ghana. What is happening in other places, the political disturbances happening in other places can happen in Ghana. But the only reason why it would not be successful is when we have young men and women speaking out and taking a stand.
This, among other human rights abuses, is a wake-up call for authorities to act. President of Human Rights Group, Youth for Human Rights Africa, Francis Xavier Susu, says there has to be intense advocacy against such abuses, while the push for legal action is also to be sought.
When you look at the issue of Stephen Arthur, he was completely abused. The shootout was not legitimate, and he got injured in the process and became permanently paralyzed. Honestly, various steps had been taken to secure justice for him. at least finally when Yora took over the advocacy and was prepared to go to the international court to demand some compensation for him, the state has taken steps to come up with some figures aimed at actually compensating him.
On the Stephen Arthur case, the group, which has mainly been pushing for compensation for the 27-year-old, says the Attorney General's Department has gotten in touch with them. Senior lecturer in law at the University of Ghana Faculty of Law, Dr. Raymond Atukuba, however, says Ghana is losing the fight against human rights abuse because there appears to be unnecessary attention being given to less important issues. According to him, the country is wasting energy in discussing issues such as LGBT rights.
Ghana and most of Africa has the basic legal and political framework to realize human rights for all of our citizens. What we are missing is the economic, social, and equitable development infrastructure. Going forward, let's build that infrastructure and use that same force we are using against gays and lesbians to focus on solving the problems of developmental planning and monitoring, policy terrorism, wastage including corruption, and the problem of politics.
Criminologist and legal practitioner Ken Atefwa, on the other hand, believes stakeholders, including the police service and military, have to work in non-partisan manner in order to bring perpetrators of human rights abuses to justice. But while the cases of abuses are even committed by police officers, it makes fighting the menace extremely difficult.
Focus on socioeconomic and civil rights would be one of the things that Yora would be paying attention to undoubtedly, because a biased appreciation of human rights does no one any good. You ought to pursue human rights as a comprehensive matter, as a multifaceted matter, not just focusing on civil and political rights.
Stakeholders are now calling for impartial action against all forms of human rights abuses. In the case of police personnel fighting crime, they want the police to shoot to maim instead of shooting to kill.
Let's talk about this over the next few minutes. Joining us via telephone is Roxanne Dafiamekpo. He's Member of Parliament for South Dai, and he's also a member of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee in Parliament. And, well, for those who do not know him, he's also a legal practitioner. Honorable, thank you very much for your time. What we hear from civil society, Yora, is the fact that, look, we need to be impartial when we want to tackle all abuses. Now, I want to find out from you, from where you sit, how well is Ghana doing at all when it comes to the fight against people who tend to abuse the rights of others?
Now, let me use the opportunity to say good evening to your listeners. Am I on TV or radio?
You're on TV.
Oh, I see. Good evening to your viewers.
Absolutely.
I was actually one of the speakers, minority leader, as a speaker. In the course of delivering my speech, I made a point that indeed there are plethora of our developmental issues that have now assumed a human rights dimension. Because indeed, if for instance I have a government that can terminate a road project in my constituency or in my neighborhood, and simply refuse to continue from where the previous government has left off, it becomes a human rights matter. Can I, as a citizen, assert my right that the government must come and complete that road? Can I, for instance, assert my right that the government should provide me with a housing accommodation, as is done in other jurisdictions? And so in doing so, I moved from within Article 12 of our Constitution all the way to Article 30, which is in Chapter 5 of the Constitution and the Fundamental Human Rights. The Constitution has given to us, as the people, variants of several fundamental human rights so that we can accept them in this republic. Now, moving from the general to the specific, the question they asked is, what are we doing against people who abuse these rights? Really nothing. Because you hear, for instance, you can hear that the police will claim that they are chasing armed robbers, and in the course of a shootout, about 5 armed robbers died. And you see, they will come back to say, they won't say that they had a confrontation with gun-bearing members of society. They will be quick to describe them as armed robbers. But it is not the place of the police to describe those people as armed robbers.
I agree. Now, Honorable.
Hold on. I'm trying to lay an emphasis. It has to take the court to say that these people were indeed armed robbers. But I think that when they say armed robbers and they gun them down, then that should end the matter. So the fundamental rights of citizens are abused on all fronts. People are employed on contract basis. They are sacked from their jobs based on perception, based on suspicion. So now, I am saying that the people who abuse the rights of citizens are not sanctioned. There are no remedial measures brought against the people. You have heard what is happening.
So Honorable, here's my question. As a member of the lawmaking house, what role do you think that you could play? What role do you think that you have played over the years in making sure that really government does not abuse its powers, that the next person who sits close to you does not abuse your human rights and just goes scot-free? What role have you been playing, or can you play in this regard?
Okay. One, the rules regarding the rules we've been playing, we've been enacting credible laws to set the government from an unscrupulous, I won't say government, because not all governments or executives are unscrupulous, but to check an unscrupulous executive from abusing his or her power in this matter. Now, in respect of the second level of the question, what do we do to safeguard the citizens against excessive use of executive power? That is why we have certain institutions such as the Attorney General's office. It is not every case that goes to the Attorney General's office that are prosecutable. They will have to determine whether or not the matter is prosecutable before they do so. Now, as Parliament, anytime a member of Parliament, you would have realized that from between January and now, lots of MPs have asked questions of ministers concerning certain or an ascertained abuse of the rights of a citizen. For instance, I recall that the Honorable Kwame Akoja, member for Adako constituency, and the Honorable Ras Mubarak have had cause to pose questions to the respective ministers regarding the abuse of police power concerning citizens. When citizens have died. Indeed, when Major Mahama died, questions have been filed against ministers for them to come and answer to tell us the circumstances under which a military officer was killed under such a heinous circumstance.
Okay, now Honorable, since we are talking about rights, here's something I would want you to throw some light on. Now, if you're a member of Parliament for South Dai, let's take that for example. Now, when you go to Parliament to vote on laws or vote on decisions that could affect the people who put you there in the first place, and we do not see you engage those people before you take the decision, in effect, taking away their right to decide on whether they want it or not, don't you find that problematic?
No. Anytime, in a representative democracy, the scenario that you have given is akin to you saying that when the president decides to sign onto a certain protocol in, say, Geneva, in, say, Washington, D.C., and, say, Addis Ababa, the president must necessarily come back to Accra to call to make a public announcement to the generality of Ghanaians.
No, but are you saying that the president won't have any consultation with the rest of his arms?
My dear, I am drawing. You made an analogy, and I'm drawing. We are just making a debate. We are just making an informed, logical analysis. And I'm saying that you are saying that when the president intends to do that, he must call for a public announcement and call for members of the public to advise him. That is why we have institutions. So in the same vein, as a member of parliament for Southern, I have certain institutional arrangements that advise me as to what to do. And so anytime there are matters of this nature, I speak to chiefs, I speak to opinion leaders, I speak to other stakeholders in the constituency and all districts. I have a district coordinating director who is administrative, as it were, administrative secretary to the district. The district chief executive is administrative head. But technically, it is district coordinating director who handles matters.
Honorable, I'm afraid we'll have to leave our conversation here, but I'm grateful for your time. Roxanne Dafia-Mekpo is MP for South Dai, and he's also a member of the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee in Parliament. We've been discussing our human rights, you know, as a people in Ghana. But we've also been talking about this on Twitter. Quickly, what have people been saying?
Absolutely. So we put out that question and expected your feedback. So is Ghana doing well in ending human rights abuses? And we had 39% saying yes, 61% saying no. So the vast majority think we've not been able to handle human rights issues so well. So that's the feedback we're getting. And imagine our 39%.
Again, very recently, our reaction to homosexuality, the conversation around homosexuality, obviously tells us that
we're not prepared to grant people their rights.
It's a long way to go.
I think that is more of a cultural thing, rather.
No, but then it's still the right of that person to want to engage in that.
Okay.
And so if you know, we tend to be phobic towards it.
Then again, it goes against their rights.
Yeah. Now, before we go, speaking of rights, you recall that government has decided to investigate the petition that has been brought against the EC board.
Absolutely.
EC boss, Madam Charlotte Osei. Now, we've just got a letter purportedly coming from Madam Charlotte Osei to the presidency, and this letter is dated December 11, 2017, and addressed directly to the office of the president. It says, I write with respect to widespread media reports of a petition presented by one Maxwell Opoku-Agyeman on behalf of certain alleged petitioners seeking my removal from office as chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Respectfully, Your Excellency, I would appreciate being furnished with a copy of the said petition to enable me obtain the requisite advice I may need on the matter. Please have the assurances of my highest regard and esteem. So that's the letter coming from there. She also, there's also another which to the Judicial Service, which says a response to the invitation to appear before a committee, a petition brought under Article 146 of the Constitution of Ghana for the removal from office of Madam Charlotte Osei, chairperson of the Electoral Commission. She wrote again to the Judicial Service acknowledging receipt of the letter dated 6 December. She also notes that in the aforementioned letter, she is informed that a committee was set up in accordance with Article 146. It goes on to say that I would respectfully like to be made aware of the following. I have to this day not been furnished with a copy of the alleged petition. Essentially writing to both the President and the Judicial Service, telling them that she has no copy of the petition for which they are summoning her, you know, before this committee.
And I think that would be unfair. Maybe she should be presented with one so that her lawyers can give her that requisite advice.
You think that that's the process, right?
Absolutely.
Human rights.
That's how
No, I'm just kidding. That's more news. Stay with us.
All right, so Kemini, you'd want to know how the weather is going to look like within the next 24 hours.
With all these sudden rains and,
It's an introduction
and I'm
to the
still waiting for the Hamilton.
Oh, have you not started feeling it already?
No.
Okay,
maybe because I use shea butter.
Oh, okay, you don't feel it so much.
Yeah.
All right, the Hamilton is around. Maybe we could catch a glimpse of how the weather updates will be telling us how tomorrow is going to look like. Up next, we have international news. An amateur terror attack struck the Port Authority bus terminal at 42nd Street and 8th Avenue near Times Square on Monday morning, injuring 3 people and causing chaos in one of the busiest commuter hubs in the city, officials reported. Now, police identified the suspect allegedly behind the New York bus terminal explosion as Akayad Ullah, 27, and said the attack appears to be isolated. Ullah wore an improvised low-tech explosive device attached to his body, which he intentionally detonated. Police Commissioner James O'Neill said Ullah is now at Bettsview Hospital, where he is being treated for lacerations and burns to his hands and abdomen. 2 victims at Mount Sinai West and 1 at Mount Sinai Queens are being treated for headaches and ringing in the ear.
Hey, yo, but why you deflex me? Why you think say I be 20? My phone always the ring, cause the girls I get plenty. Flex. Hey, yo, but why you deflex
you deflex, oh.
Everybody they blow me fans, like I be some new big star. Social media guru, I dey keep up with the trends. Fast internet, I dey connect with my friends. Charlie, I can flex you. Quality movie on my screen straight from YouTube.
Hey, mama, who flex you?
I get money from my phone to make a sort you. We dey chill for Facebook like Ice Cube. With Airtel Flex, enjoy more of what you like. Watch movies, stream videos and songs, get free social media all day long, and exciting money backs. Whatever your style is, we have a package for you. Dial *125# to choose your flex. Now, you dey flex.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
I've enjoyed my time with you.
Will you pay for it?
Well,
I have to. It's always a pleasure.
Anything. Always a pleasure. Her name is Kemini Amano, actually.
And he's Kweku Timi. He likes to be called Kweku Dubai. Thank you very much for your company. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
But why you deflex me? Why you think say I be 20? My phone always the ring, cause the girls I get plenty.